Hey everybody, and welcome to the Megaten Minute. Today we're going to be covering Deep Strange Journey, remaster of Strange Journey, including a new character, some demons that didn't appear in the game previously, either remastered or remixed songs or new tracks altogether, a new route, which means new ending or endings, as well as some overhaul in the whole battle system or the gameplay at all. So we have a lot of big things happening. But before we get started talking about that, let's talk about some of the other things that are happening in the Megaten universe. So first off, we have the Mara figure, which is the price has been announced, $500. So very expensive. This is probably the most expensive official figure that I can remember. Obviously, there's some some figures and some other merchandise that came before my time, but this is the highest official price point I've seen thus far. The X Giant Jack Frost figure that came out not too long ago was $150. I think the most expensive plushie was $50. So this is pretty much the most expensive thing I could think of. And actually, no, the Nocturne laptop is the most expensive thing I could think of. But this is very close, and this can be bought on Amazon. It can be bought via a third-party seller like AmiAmi, or you can opt for buying it at Atlas D Shop. And if you do, you actually get a couple bonuses. So the bonuses that are included is a large B2 tapestry, which the design is not actually disclosed just yet, or at least not of the recording of this video. And there's also a sweater that you get with the purchase as well, whose design is also a mystery because it's not been revealed yet. I believe there's going to be a set amount of pre-orders for you to be able to get these bonuses, and after that, you're just going to get the figure. The figure is actually fully posable, so the tentacles are made out of a material that's very flexible, and you can actually move it around. The wheels and the blades in front of the chariot are fully articulated, meaning that you can actually pose them in a number of positions, and that's pretty amazing. And I guess that's speaking to the quality of the figure. If you look, it's actually a pretty sizable figure. So we have that. I'm sad because I'm probably not gonna buy it. I've retired temporarily from collecting, so I will not be buying any of these figures anymore. I'm just relegated to game purchases only. So I won't have it, but hopefully one of you guys pick it up. Then we have a couple more Persona 5 collaborations. One being a cafe, which is going to be, like, I guess they're going to have these special menus that have exclusive Persona 5 themed dishes or whatever. This is not the first time they've done something like this. So you might remember the Apocalypse, like alcoholic beverages and stuff. Not the first time that they've done something like this. I think they also did it for Persona Q as well as some other games. Another interesting thing is that there's going to be a collaboration with Artemis Kings. They did a collaboration with them in the past with the Persona 3 rings. They're doing the same ring concept, but they're putting that ring concept to Persona 5. So we have 9 designs that will be available, and that's pretty cool. It has the code name for the Phantom Thief, as well as like their mask, I guess. Design is like the basic form of the ring. They announced this huge Persona Live event during the last Persona Stalker Club. And who knows what that's going to be? I want to say the last big Persona event they did was the one where we found out that Persona 5 was coming. So there's going to be something huge with that event. It's going to be like a really, really large event at this huge stadium. I'm actually hoping that they'll stream it. I don't remember reading if they are, but I think that rounds off the news. So let's talk about Deep Strange Journey. So what are the changes? The changes being the inclusion of a new character whose name is Alex. There's inclusion of some new demons, or actually just demons that just didn't appear in Strange Journey originally. Some of the ones that I could think of off the top of my head being Master Therion, Beelzebub, Nibiros, and Maria. We also have the big owl demon, who I'm guessing is Amon. People are saying that he's probably Andres or some other demon, but very much looks like Amon. I'm gonna go ahead and say Amon or Amon. Those are like the I guess superficial inclusions. The really important stuff is the changes to the gameplay, one of the big changes is that we're going to be able to save at any point during the game. Some people will find that very useful, especially in sectors like Iridanus, which is very difficult if you're, your first run. And there's other like sectors that are somewhat confusing. So that'll kind of ease up the pressure. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be some sort of change to the music. I'm looking at what they're saying, and it's Toshiki Konoshi is the one, or Konishi is the one attributed to the new music. So I'm not sure if he's going to just be touching up the music from the existing, I guess the existing score, or if he's going to be adding music that complements it. If you might remember him from from SMT4, and his music is actually pretty good. So hopefully he can live up to the Strange Journey OST hype. Some of the things that I kind of am hoping for that they include or change is actually hope that they get rid of the insta death from petrification. I don't know how other people dealt with it, but it really bothered me when you died immediately from petrification. It was one of the ones that were hard to avoid, at least for me. Get rid of that. I hope they also make the main character not so weak, I guess. So you're crippled by the fact that your stats are randomly distributed. There's ways that you can work around it, but it's very inconvenient. So giving you the power to distribute your stat points accordingly would be beautiful. I mean, unless they just want that kind of like Nintendo hard kind of thing, I guess. But let's give the player the ability to distribute stat points. Let's also make the character a little more balanced and not just being like the ultimate gun guy. Maybe he can somehow utilize demon sources in a different way than we got in the previous game, or maybe he can learn skills like, I don't know, like Demi Fiend. I mean, I'm not saying that he should choke down Magatama, but whatever it takes to kind of just change up the gameplay a bit. Another thing that would be really awesome is just like I said, revamping the demon sources. So either changing how they work or figuring out a new way to do that whole concept. It was very interesting. That plus the password system. I want them to kind of revamp those two things and somehow implement them into the street passing function. So if they did street pass with like demon sources or whatever, that'd be very, very good, because you in general you would kind of hoard all the demon sources, and then you would just figure out which demons you would use for endgame, and you would just pump them into those demons. Or at least that's how I did it. I'm not a master tactician, so my way probably wasn't the best way. I kind of hope they adapt some stuff from Persona Q, or as I'm told, it's from Etrian Odyssey, where you can actually mark the map, or basically be able to plan your map better. If I remember correctly, you kind of just walk, and each step makes a mark on the map, and then you could actually know where you're going from that. And that was tedious, to say the least, especially because I was one of the people that liked to walk on every single tile just to make my map say 100% complete. There was no benefit to it except for some quest, if I remember correctly. But keep the maps very convoluted and intricate. I liked that. It actually was one of the more fun things for me. I don't mind the random battles that dealt in between, I guess. Let's figure out a way to kind of fine-tune the co-op system, or maybe we have to just substitute it for the press turn system. But those are some of the things that I would like to see them try to tackle. So one of the big things that people are talking about are the different new art. So the character portrait updates are very different, and by very different I mean not really that different. I love Kaneko, but it seems like the biggest difference is that the faces are a lot smoother. So whereas I could see that being an issue with someone like Gore for Tadano, or whatever you call the main character, Tadano Hidenari is what they called him in the drama CD. It's also what the Japanese fandom typically call him. He looks basically untouched. He just doesn't have a super hard cheekbone line. But someone like Gore, who's supposed to be a seasoned vet, it does look kind of weird to make him look very young. Everyone looks pretty young, so then for them to be an elite group is kind of weird to me, because now they don't have the age factor. They're just like that weird anime trope where you're weirdly young but you're super talented, and I don't really like that in general. But maybe right now it's just because I have the Kaneko art style ingrained in my head, and once that settles, I will kind of let it go. I'm curious to see what they do with characters like Captain Jack, who doesn't have an official portrait. You just kind of see like a weird background image of him and it's kind of blurry and pixelated. I want to see what his portrait looks like, and so I want to see Ryan as well. So those are some of the ones I'm looking forward to. And then there's Alex. Alex looks very different from the rest of the cast. One of the things I found issue with is that Masayuki Doi was only really credited for the new demon designs. He's not credited with the character art, and that's different because when he did the redraw for the Persona 2 Eternal Punishment PSP game that we didn't ever get in America, he redrew the character portraits and they look different than the Innocent Sin portraits. You can really see it in Maya specifically. He was credited for those changes, but he's not credited yet for the character designs in Strange Journey. So does that mean that he's too busy with SMT HD to really do anything with Strange Journey, even though they're saying it's 70 to 80% done already? It brings a lot of questions, I guess. And then it also brings in the question, who designed Alex? Alex is very far flung from the rest of the cast, who all have like a retro futuristic sci-fi, like 80s sci-fi like vibe. The design of everything is very, very antiquated, futuristic, that whole dichotomy. So it's really interesting to see her, who, aside from her weird ray gun that looks straight out of the 50s, she looks pretty regular futuristic, I guess. So is she from an alternate timeline? Is she like from the future? Which would probably explain why she doesn't have like a typical Demonica, or maybe she's not even human and that's why she doesn't need a Demonica, because she could also be something like Bugaboo is, which is like a partial human, I guess. And that brings like her character brings a lot of questions, and I'm really curious to see how she's integrated into the story and what she really ends up being in the end. The only other really big story-based question is Maria, or Mary. She's a new character, or a new demon that's included in this roster, and she's only really appeared in SMT 9. So spoilers for this, I'm gonna put some sort of annotation so then you can skip this if you don't want to know the story for 9. But basically 9 is about what happens after SMT 1. Tokyo's in ruins, so they live in bunkers. They build this MMORPG called The Ideal Space, which replicates 90s Japan. It's like an idealized version of Japan. And the Messiahs decide that they want to artificially create a Messiah in the Ideal Space because the Messiah never showed up, and the world's in ruin. So they manufacture Mary, or Maria. Maria is essentially the prototype to Aleph. So, which is interesting given who Aleph is, blah, blah, blah. One of the really interesting parallels between SMT 9 and Strange Journey is that in SMT 9 we have Sophia. Sophia is the mother of Demiurge. Spoilers for Strange Journey, I'll annotate it here too. Demiurge is one of the central protagonists in Strange Journey, and the son of Sophia in Gnostic lore. So those connections really make it so that maybe this is like a full circle moment for Megaten. Maybe this is why they keep saying it's the deepest devil story or whatever so far, because they're trying to connect the games, probably. Who knows? We'll see when that comes out. I quickly want to kind of touch on some of the voice acting. So Alex is going to be voiced by Megumi Han, and she's the one that did the redheaded character in Digimon Cyber Sleuth. I can't remember her name, sorry. And she also did Gon from Hunter x Hunter. Gore is voiced by Unsho Ishizuka, who's famous for his Heihachi Mishima from Tekken, as well as Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball. Jimenez is one of my favorite casting decisions of all of Atlas Japan's decisions. It's Takahiro Sakurai, who's super famous as the Japanese voice of Cloud, and he's also done Haseo and Dot Hack, the anguished one in Devil Survivor 2, and most importantly, he's the Japanese voice for Edward Cullen in Twilight. Zelenin is voiced by Maya Sakamoto, who's super famous for Aegis from Persona 3, if you didn't know, then now you know. Haruhi from Oran Host Club, and Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. I'm really surprised with the cast decisions. They're very fitting, in my opinion. Although Jimenez is I'm a little iffy about it, because most of the characters that Sakurai typically voices are the reluctant hero, or the cool but withdrawn character. So I'm really curious to see how he interprets Jimenez, who doesn't feel like either of those character tropes. So we'll see. There's not gonna be any questions in this episode, so thank you for watching or listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, yada yada yada. Please put questions for future videos in the comments, and stick around for the next one where I actually cover something that we don't already know a lot about. Okay, bye.